Hello, 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 my loves. As always, I hope that this live or this replay finds you well and in excellent spirits. Happy Monday, and welcome to another edition of the weekly Astro Forecast live here in the Astro Room on YouTube. I am your host and your favorite astrologer, Mel of Divine Feminine Works, where I help people unlock their divinity and discover their magic. So, if this is our first time meeting, welcome. And as always, if you are returning, welcome back. So, this channel is everything astrology, spirituality, and manifestation. So, if those are the things you like, if those are the things you love, or if those are the things you want to learn more about, don't forget to hit the subscribe button as well as that notification bell so you'll always be notified when I come out with new content. All right, my love. So, this is the weekly astro forecast for the week of June 23rd through June 29th, 2025. All right. So, I apologize for last week. Everything malfunctioned. You know when you update an app, but sometimes the other apps that work with that app don't get updated too? And then everything was just all amiss. And so the visuals worked, but the audio didn't. So hopefully, and it looks like I can see my levels, so I believe that you can hear me. Hopefully, all of that is resolved this week. And it's just a preview of what's to come because by the time we get to next week, we're going to be in the pre-retrograde shadow period for Mercury retrograde, but that's another story for another day. Let's talk about this week right here. All right. So, if we're talking about the astrology in terms of the weather forecast, this week is going to be hella sunny. Okay. Lots of hot, vibrant, and bold energy. Now, there is going to be a sprinkling or two, but the sprinkling is going to be much needed. All right. So get your sunglasses out because it's about to be hot and sunny. All right, my loves. But before I get into the details of the week, of course, housekeeping and announcements. If you are joining me here on the live this evening, and I know this is a little earlier, I have a call at 10 p.m. that I just can't miss. So I decided to do this earlier. But let me know if you actually like this time slot better. I think I'll do a poll on my YouTube community post to see if you like 8 p.m. or 9:30 p.m. Eastern better. All right. But as for tonight, and as for right now, tonight is the only outlier where we will be meeting at 8 p.m. All right. But if you are joining me here on the live, thank you so much for tuning in. I sincerely appreciate you. Say hi on your way in, as well as hitting that like button and that subscribe button if you haven't already. It is the best way to support the channel. It lets the algorithm know that you like this content, so then it pushes it out to others who may like it as well. All right. And if you are joining me on the replay, I appreciate you just as much. I sincerely hope that you get what you're looking for out of this broadcast, whether it's information, confirmation, illumination, enlightenment. If you find that here and you find value with this, hit that like button, subscribe button, and notification bell. All right. So, in terms of announcements, I kind of have a little soapbox moment that I want to get on right now. Okay. I talked about this today in my private community, Cosmic Collective. A link is in the description box below if you want to join. It's free. I talked about it on Instagram. And so, of course, I'm going to talk about it here. I like to call this period of time, keep your eyes on your own paper. And I say this because with everything going on right now, with the fear mongering, the uncertainty, the instability, focus on what you need for yourself and focus on moving forward. Okay. As hard as that may be, as challenging as that may be, given the dumpster fire that's going on right now, that is sort of where you need to be shifting your energy and putting in your effort. Think of everything that's going on in the world right now as a party that you've been invited to, right? But you ultimately have the power to say, you know what? I'm not going to go to that party. I think I'll stay home, right? And in doing so, you're conserving your own energy and you're using the energy constructively for yourself, right? You've got goals, you've got ambitions, you've got things that you want to accomplish. You know, we're at a very pivotal point in time where so many of us are awake to our creative abilities. And so many of us are really focused on creating the realities that we want to experience. And everything going on in the world is just a huge distraction from all of that. Now, there are certain things that can't be helped, and there are certain things that are out of our control. To the extent that you can, keep your eyes on your own paper. right? And now that can look like a variety of things. And that can have you on an emotional roller coaster like no other. One day you're feeling good, you're on purpose, you're focused. The next day you're feeling sad, you can't get out of bed, things are tough. That's perfectly normal. And please understand that you're not alone in that. We are all riding this same crazy ass roller coaster right now. And so, in that vein, I woke up this morning feeling like I asked myself, what is it that I need? Like, what do I need to focus on for myself? And in answering that question, I was like, how can I support others? Because apart from just giving you astrology on a weekly basis and teaching you things, I am a healer. I am here to help heal humanity. My tools for healing are astrology and sound therapy, but I'm a healer first and foremost. And at this point in time, I need to be helping people. Like, it's just a non-negotiable. I can't sit by and watch people be really confused or lack clarity or direction, knowing that I can help them and I'm not. And so today I created this service called the Soul Support Session. And it's a 60-minute online Zoom session where we'll talk about the astrology as it pertains to you so you can get some clarity. We'll get into some sound therapy and breath work. We're going to talk about how to move forward, what next steps you need to take, as well as any rituals or practices that can help you move forward. Now, this isn't some rigid sort of session where everything is timed and it's really, this super strict thing. If you want to talk for an hour, if you want to vent for an hour, this could also be that too. Because sometimes maybe we just need someone to listen to us. Maybe we just need a little bit of direction or maybe a little push, right? In order to get us where we need to go. And so that's the purpose of the soul support session. All right. I just opened it up. I will be doing this every Friday. So if you are interested and you want to know more, the link will be in the description box below and it will also be tagged to this video. And in that vein, this is meant to support everyone. And I don't want finances to be a barrier to this because if you need the help, if you need the clarity, I want you to be able to get it. So I do have a sliding scale in terms of cost, right? So if you have a financial hardship, if you're really having a rough time right now, I am here for you. All right. And so, in that vein, if you need financial assistance, if this is something that you want to schedule, but you may not be able to afford it completely, book a clarity call with me. We'll talk and I'll see how I can help you. Again, this is on a sliding scale. I don't want anyone to feel like they are priced out of getting the help and the clarity that they need. So, all of that information will be in the description box below. You can start scheduling this right now. So, if you feel the need, please do, because the last thing that I want is for people to be out here aimless, scared, and uncertain, especially when I have the tools to be able to help you get clear, get calm, and get focused. So definitely take advantage of that if you feel so inclined to do so. Okay? And as always, it is Monday. Monday is Moon Day, right? And we are learning, especially if you are in Cosmic Collective, we are learning how to live in tune with nature, specifically the lunar cycle. So if you're someone who's new to that, if you want to learn how to do that, then you'll definitely want to take advantage of my Lunar Living Starter Pack, which is completely free. It's a Notion template and intro video that helps you understand your lunar cycle. And this is super important if you are a woman, right? Your lunar cycle is literally everything. Understand it, track it, and learn how to use the energy to your advantage. Link is in the description box below. It's completely free. Get on it. I promise you'll love it. Okay. And so, by way of announcements, that's all I have for you guys today. So, now let's get into the astrology for the week. It's like I said, hella sunny this week. It's like the perfect summer week where it's sunny, it's hot, you want to take action, you want to do things, right? So, in terms of the theme for this week, along the lines of this bright ass week, the theme for this week is big mood, big moves. Okay. And big is the operative word here because we've got Jupiter in the mix, we've got a new moon, and we've got Mercury moving into Leo. Okay. Which is main character energy like you wouldn't believe. All right. But This is a week that can bring a lot of positivity, a lot of abundance, and a lot of good fortune if you will allow it to. I feel like the universe is trying its best to get us to focus on the abundant side of life, specifically now that Jupiter has gone into Cancer, right? Feeling abundant, feeling emotionally secure. It's a little difficult given everything that's going on, which is understandable, right? It's difficult to want to focus on making more money or focus on having the relationship of your dreams when it feels like the world is falling apart. As a matter of fact, this morning I was scrolling on threads and there was someone talking about how they're a business owner and they're like, I feel bad promoting my business, like my products and my services when it's like the world is ending. But it's like, listen, bills don't stop. Life doesn't stop. And you shouldn't either. It's not to say that you should take a blind eye or you should turn a blind eye to everything that's going on and act like it's not going on. Not saying that at all. But again, it's a party you've been invited to, but you don't have to go. You don't have to accept the invitation. So again, think of it that way. But yeah, I feel like the universe is really trying to give us some positive energy this week. And if you are willing to, you know, limit the distractions and focus on what's in front of you and what you need, this can be a really great week to move ahead. All right. And it's a week for action with Jupiter conjunct the sun. Now, they're both in Cancer. Now, Cancer is definitely a water sign. So when we think of water, we don't think of action, but Jupiter is starting a brand new cycle. It's called a synodic cycle because when Jupiter and the sun meet, it's like a complete reset for that Jupiter energy. So Jupiter is going to be feeling extra energized and extra potent. And this means good fortune. This means expansion, right? And I love this because so many of us have woken up to the fact that the lives that we were living, the programs that we were running on, were limiting us, limiting our creative abilities, limiting our abilities to express ourselves, keeping us boxed in to these paradigms that don't serve us, especially as our souls are growing and expanding. And Jupiter just wants to help you do all of that right now. Jupiter wants you to break out the box. Jupiter wants to take you into a different stratosphere, especially since it is exalted in Cancer, right? So it's this extra potent energy. So this is a week where you can really make some headway. All right. So that being said, let's get into the week and talk about let me just demonstrate what I'm talking about. All right. So first, tomorrow on the 24th, we've got the sun conjunct Jupiter. And in terms of the weather, baby, this is sunny, warm. It's like the perfect summer day. All right. So you want to take advantage of it. Now, when we're talking about the sun has a lot to do with our identity. It has a lot to do with our purpose, even. Okay. But most importantly, the sun brings clarity. Think of noon, right? The noon, the time of day. When the sun is shining, it's the highest in the sky, right? And it it casts really dramatic shadows, I'll say that, but everything you can see everything under the light of the sun. There's this truth that the sun reveals, right? Because it's so high in the sky and it's so bright. And with the sun conjunct Jupiter, this is like a scavenger hunt and you're being told where the things are. It's like finding hidden treasure, but that hidden treasure is illuminated. I don't know why I had decided to describe it like that, but that is how I'm being shown right now. You don't have to look for it. You don't have to solve any crazy puzzles or run around like a chicken with your head cut off. The sun is telling you this is where the abundance is. Now, because the sun and Jupiter are conjunct in Cancer, it's an inside job. So this isn't about looking externally for anything. It's about looking for the abundance within. It could be something that you've already started cultivating. It could be something that you are about to begin to cultivate and gestate, being that the new moon in Cancer is happening this week as well. But the abundance lies within. It starts with your feelings, it starts with your emotion, and most importantly, it can be found using your intuition. Cancer is hella intuitive. I don't know a single Cancer who isn't really psychic, really intuitive, highly emotional, but in the best way possible. So, if you're wanting more out of life, right? Because remember, Jupiter wants to expand us. If you want more out of life, it starts within. You really need to get your emotions on board. And it's not going to be difficult with this transit because Sun conjunct Jupiter, you're going to be feeling really optimistic. You're going to be feeling really good. Remember, it's like a sunny summer day. You know how happy you feel? Especially if you're fortunate enough to be able to go to the beach and you're like, oh, you're on your way to the beach. The weather is perfect. You're about to have the best day. If you live in Florida, you've got a pub sub with you, some drinks and snacks. Like you're in for a great day. That's how we're going to feel with this particular transit. Now the question becomes, what are you going to do with those emotions? Everything about Cancer is planting. And if there's one thing going on this week that I want you to understand, this is a very fertile time. Very fertile time. So be mindful of what it is you're planting. But with the Sun conjunct Jupiter, feeling good and being optimistic will definitely help you plant some really good seeds, seeds of expansion and seeds of growth. All right. And so for each of these, not only do I tell you the weather, but I give you an energetic advisory. And so the energetic advisory for the Sun conjunct Jupiter is say yes to whatever is growing. Now, the Sun conjunct Jupiter, it's going to present you with opportunities for expansion. It's going to present you with things that perhaps take you out of your comfort zone, especially emotionally. Say yes to them. This transit doesn't happen too often. And with everything being so fertile right now, say yes to what's growing you. Say yes to what is expanding you. I'm going to say probably, you won't regret it. Trust me. All right. So that's the first thing we've got going on this week. So let's see what we've got up next. And then on Wednesday, the 25th, we've got the new moon of the month, which is going down in the sign of Cancer. And in terms of the weather, this is showers, but not in the way that you may think. Not like it's raining on your parade, not like it's a summer day and you want to go to the beach, but it's raining. But these are tears of joy, perhaps tears of elation, tears that can water the seed that you are planting right now. And by tears, it doesn't mean sadness, it means emotion. You're using your emotions to water whatever you are planting. Okay. Now, if you want to know more about this upcoming new moon in Cancer, I just dropped a video on it today. If you want to know what this new moon in Cancer is bringing for your particular rising sign, sign up for the channel membership. I dropped that video today, so you'll know exactly how to prepare for this new moon because you'll know exactly what to expect. Link for both of those will be down in the description box below. But this is planting. And in that video, I opened the video by asking, what do you want to plant, nurture, and eventually give birth to? Because the thing about Cancer energy, it is dedicated and devoted to nurturing, developing, and growing something. Think about when a woman is pregnant, right? She carries that child for 9 months. 9 months, that child is inside of her developing, right? And that's sort of the energy that we are bringing or that we are using at this new moon in Cancer. This isn't a hot and fast kind of energy. That's not Cancer at all. This isn't like a new moon in Aries where it's just like, listen to your impulse and go and act. This is about quiet planting in the dark, unseen. Because clearly, when a woman is pregnant, she carries the child on the inside. She doesn't know what the child looks like for the most part until she gives birth to the child, right? Everything that the child is developing and growing, she can feel it, she can sense it, but she can't necessarily see it with her eyes. And that is the energy that we need to be cognizant of at this new moon in Cancer. because the seed that we plant today is not the fruit that we eat tomorrow. This is something that may take weeks or months. And during that time, we have to allow this thing to gestate. We have to allow this thing to develop and grow. Thankfully, we're getting help with Jupiter because Jupiter is going to be conjunct this new moon. So Jupiter is going to help grow this thing. So let's say, for instance, you've got Cancer as your fifth house, right? The fifth house covers romance and children. Let's say you're trying to develop a romantic relationship. Okay. Now, you may be on the apps, you may be going out, you may be doing your part, but Jupiter is going to help grow this intention for you. So, Jupiter is going to bring you potential suitors. Jupiter is going to tell you perhaps where to go. Jupiter may bring you an influx of people on the apps wanting to, that match with you or whatever, right? We're fortunate that Jupiter is going to rain blessings and good fortune on this, but you have to be clear on what it is that you want. And by be clear, I don't mean in your mind, I mean with your emotions. Your mind may be saying, yes, I want to develop my business this month. But if your emotions are like, I'm scared, I can't, it's not going to happen, baby. It's not going to happen. Okay. So be mindful of the emotions, be mindful of the water you are using to water the seeds that you're planting at this new moon. Okay. Now, Cancer also has a lot to do with home life, motherhood, your inner needs, your emotional needs. Hello, respectful cicada. How are you? Thank you so much for tuning in. So there could be an undercurrent of home domestic affairs with this new moon. So don't be surprised if any of that takes place. But other than that, think about what you want to plant, nurture, and eventually give birth to over the next couple of months. That's what we're doing with this new moon in Cancer. So the energetic advisory for this particular transit this week is plant seeds in soft soil. Okay. This sort of has to do with the weather, right? This watering. The soft soil is softened with your emotions in the sense that, when it gets new moon time, right? A lot of us, especially if you're a type A personality, you're like, okay, it's a new moon. I need to, I need to manifest something new, set intentions, do the rituals. Like you're so proactive about it, almost to the point of rigidity, right? Where you're kind of just like, I got to do this, I got to do that. Do I do it at this time? Do I write it this way? Do I write it 5 times? Right. Plant these seeds in soft soil. Create a soft and sacred space for these intentions. So, this is going to require you to slow down a bit. Don't treat this like a chore. Don't treat this like just another thing. The undercurrent energy of this new moon is stability. And so many of us want stability so badly right now, especially in a world that is so uncertain and chaotic. Stability takes time. And it takes a strong foundation, but understand that that strong foundation is not always fortified with brute force. Sometimes that strong foundation is an emotional foundation. Like I said before, Cancer rules motherhood. And when we think about our upbringing, we think about our relationship with our mothers and our family and the people that were closest to us, right? How was that emotional environment? The condition of that emotional environment is literally the foundation for how you move in the world, right? For better or for worse. And so when we're planting seeds at this new moon, give it softness. As you detach from everything that's going on out there, create a soft, sacred space for whatever you're planting. Remember, it's fertile, it's juicy, right? It is nurtured. It's taken care of. Now, I didn't experience this, and I've only seen this on TV, so I don't know if it's real. But I've seen where in high school, students would get like an egg or a sack of flour and pretend like it's a child and they have to care for it and walk around with it and stuff. And you'll have some kids who break their eggs, they're negligent with it or whatever. Treat this intention that you're planting at this new moon, treat it with the utmost level of care. Give it the white glove treatment. Create a soft and sacred space for it. and watch it grow, nurture, and develop. And remember, Jupiter is going to help it out. So if you'll just create the space, Jupiter will pretty much almost do the rest. So keep that in mind as you manifest. Remember, plant seeds in soft soil. Okay? So that's that. Now we move on to the next one, which is going to be the complete opposite energy wise, which is Mercury entering Leo. And again, this is hella sunny. I should have put a sun with sunglasses because this is just not only super sunny, but very main character energy. Because you know how Leo likes to get down. All right. But Mercury in Leo is like, say it with your whole ass chest. Mercury in Leo wants you to express yourself in the worst way. Whatever you're passionate about, whatever you love, whatever gets you noticed, whatever highlights your uniqueness, Mercury wants you to shout it from the rooftops. Mercury wants you to tell everybody. Mercury wants you to spotlight yourself. Mercury wants you to do all of the things. Oh, did your usual time for the weekly forecast change? I'm just noticing here, even though I caught it sometime over the last few weeks, doesn't it start at 5 p.m. now? Yes, it didn't change. It's just that tonight I have a call that I can't miss at 10 p.m. So I decided to do it a little earlier this time around. But I was saying, if you guys like this time, I'll put a poll in my YouTube community tab so that you guys can vote. But if you like this time, we could definitely move it to this time. But this is just a one-time thing for tonight. So yes, Mercury entering Leo. Say it with your whole chest. And I want you to say it again and loudly. Mercury in Leo is not afraid to be heard. And that could be an uncomfortable thing, especially if normally you don't like to be heard. You like to be quiet. You don't like to roar. I want you to think of the line Mercury entering Leo is about roaring. But apart from just being expressive, Mercury in Leo is very creative. And this gives way to creative thinking and creative writing and expressing yourself using your creativity. Leo also has the undercurrent of romance because Leo is heart centered. So, Mercury in Leo may have you with romance on the brain. It may have you feeling or tapping into the energy of romance more than usual. And by romance, it doesn't necessarily just mean a romantic partnership or a romantic relationship. This could really just be the essence of romance, of love, and of passion in the general sense. Okay. But by and large, Mercury in Leo wants you to be heard. And so if there's anything that you need to say now, or should I say, once Mercury goes into Leo, that'll be the time to shine. That's going to be the time when you really want to make your presence known, to say what you need to say, to speak from the heart, and to be creative, whatever that creativity looks and feels like for you. Okay. It's just don't be shy. I feel like that's the main message of Mercury and Leo. Don't be shy. Um, there is such value in not only listening to your heart, but following it, even though society may tell you otherwise, right? But expressing yourself, being heard, being seen, that main character energy, garnering attention, right? Those are good things. And if those are areas of life that you're not too comfortable with, or if those are activities that you're not too comfortable with, allow Mercury in Leo to help you, to give you a little nudge, right? You don't have to be front and center, right? But maybe you just pipe up a little bit more in meetings. Maybe you express how you really feel. Maybe you let it be known that you feel a certain way, or express your creative ideas, or write something poetic, romantic, and from the heart, right? The other thing I love about Mercury and Leo is that it's very childlike. So it lends itself to being a lot less serious. And we need that right now. We need some fun. We need some play. We need some levity. We need some lighthearted energy. And Mercury in Leo will definitely fit the bill when it comes to that. All right. And so this energetic advisory is speak from your chest, not from your ego. This is important. I want you to really listen to the distinction because Leo can also be very egotistical. And I mean that with all the love in the world. Leo energy, as main character as it can be really in their ego. And so Mercury in Leo could exacerbate that expression from the ego. Now, there may be a time and a place for that. Use your discernment, obviously, but this is about speaking from your heart. And the difference between speaking from your heart and speaking from the ego is that you're speaking from your ego when it's trying to protect you and when it's limiting you. That's how you'll know. The primary function of your ego is protection. And so if you're doing something to protect yourself, to create a barrier, an unhealthy barrier, I'll say, that's definitely from your ego. And it limits you, it can contract you, right? Think about a turtle or a tortoise. And when there's danger, what does it do? It crawls into its shell. It contracts into its shell. That's what your ego does for you. And again, there's a time and a place for that. But Mercury in Leo wants you to speak from your heart. Heart-centered energy, heart-centered expression is the opposite of contraction. It's expressive. It expands. It's vulnerable, right? In the wild, vulnerability is the worst thing because that's what gets you killed and eaten. But understand that even though we are kind of in the wild right now, we're not in fear of being killed and eaten every day. There are times for protection and there's times to open your heart. And the world so desperately needs that right now. So many people are closed off. So many people are jaded. So many people are over it. So many people have been hurt so much that they're like that turtle, just contracted in their shell, isolated, not having the things that they want, not having the connections. Remember, the undercurrent energy of Leo is romance. There's connection there. And that requires a little bit of vulnerability. It requires you to really tap into your heart space, get out of your head, tap into your heart, and express yourself. That's exactly what Mercury in Leo wants you to do. All right. And so be patient with yourself when it comes to this, right? It may not be the most intuitive thing. It may be a little uncomfortable, especially if you're someone who's not used to expressing themselves or garnering attention. But this could really help you, especially depending on wherever Leo is in your natal chart. So Mercury in Leo may give you a little push to really put yourself out there, be expressive and be creative. And ultimately, that's an amazing thing. All right. And so honorable mention for this week in terms of the astrology transits is Sun sextile Mars. And again, this is a very sunny day as well. When you see this transit, which is happening on the 26th, so that is Thursday. So on Thursday, when the sun sextiles Mars, I want you to think action, okay? Sun sextile Mars is almost like a donkey kick to the face when it comes to taking action in a gentle sort of way. Because remember, the sun is in Cancer and Mars is currently in Virgo. So if you want to get started on something new, especially something having to do with your daily routine, with your physical health, being of service, getting organized, right? Sun sextile Mars is going to be perfect for that, okay? It's really about being productive, aka Virgo. Mars in Virgo wants you to be hella productive, hella efficient, getting your life together, getting organized, getting healthy, and really getting on track. And then with the sun in Cancer, as it's still going to be conjunct to Jupiter, the feeling of optimism. I love how this particular transit feels because it's like I want to start something new and I feel good about it. I want to create a new emotional stability for this. I want to get organized. I finally want to get my health in order. I finally want to organize my desk or whatever, right? Like, yep, been feeling that push. It's exciting. Exactly. Yeah, you're probably already feeling this. Use it, use the energy, right? It may even have you feeling overwhelmed or overstimulated, let me say. So you could really be in the throes of doing something new and getting organized and cleaning and you get overstimulated. If that's the case, physical activity is always going to be your best friend whenever we're talking about Mars. Go for a walk, go for a run, have sex, whatever it is. exert that physical energy in a constructive kind of way, and you'll get back to feeling good and getting back on track. This is definitely a feel good energy as well. And because it is a sextile, opportunities to start something new could also present themselves. So look at where Cancer and Virgo are in your natal chart. That will let you know perhaps what kind of opportunities will come up. But again, with opportunities, you got to grab them. You have to be proactive about that. You can't just do nothing. It's not like it's going to fall into your lap. You got to exert some sort of action. And action is the name of the game with this particular transit. She says, haha, for sure. I just organized my desk. Right. Virgo wants you to really get organized and clean and productive. So definitely make use of this energy. And so the energetic advisory for this transit is move your body, move your life. And I know that sounds really corny. It sounds like the title to a corny book that's really helpful, but still very corny. But it's true. Mars is all about physical activity. And while physical activity oftentimes gets a bad rap, like, oh, it's just brute force, it's just physical, right? But there is a place and a purpose for that, especially when we're talking about dispelling energy within our bodies, right? If you've got stale, stagnant energy, it's going to be hard to start something new, right? Because it's like you're lugging all of this emotional baggage and maybe even physical weight or even water weight or bloating, right, with you, which gives you a very sluggish start. But if you're moving your body, right, if you're dispelling that energy, now you've got more physical energy and vitality to start something new, to take advantage. So when in doubt, exercise, take action, go for a walk, do something physical, not only to clear your mind, but also to get you in the right frame of mind to start something new, because that is definitely the essence of this particular transit. All right. And so that's what you really have going on for this week. Now, if you've been watching my lives for a while, over the last couple of weeks, I have revamped this. I realized that Taurus, Sun, Libra, Moon. Hello. Thank you for joining. I've revamped these lives because I realized that in the past I was overloading you with information, astrology charts, every single transit going on this week. This format I think is a lot better because it really just highlights the main transits that you need to know for the week, and more importantly, how to use the energy. So if you like this, definitely let me know in the chat, in the comments. If you are looking for something else, if you have suggestions, let me know, because this is our space. I could sit here and talk till I'm blue in the face, but I'm here to help you. So whatever you want to see more of, less of, let me know. I'm definitely open to suggestions. And we've come to the Q&A section of this broadcast. So now is the time where you get to ask questions. I like this because oftentimes I feel like people do have questions and they feel like, oh, I have a question, but I don't know if I should book a reading or whatever. This is your time to ask, whether it's, I'll try not to answer too in-depth questions about like your chart or anything like that, but general questions, astrology questions, anything, this is your forum to ask. And of course, those who purchase a super chat and channel members will get top priority. So if you're looking to be a little generous and support the channel, a super chat would definitely be appreciated. But other than that, put the questions in the chat. I'll answer them. Even if you want to ask questions in the comments, if you're watching this in the replay, I'll answer those as well. And while you're thinking about your questions, I have a question for you. And that is, what are you calling in with this upcoming new moon in Cancer? Now, you don't have to be specific. You know, Cancer is a very protective, defensive energy. So I don't expect you to put your intentions on Front Street. But if you want to talk about the vibe that you want to experience, sort of what you're looking forward to, you can definitely answer this question in the chat as well. All right. So let it rip if you've got any questions while I take a drink of water. And it's also okay if you don't. Like, that's cool too. This section is for you. As we grow and as we develop, I'm sure that people will have questions. But if not, perfectly fine. There's always next week, and you can always put them in the comments as well. I'll give it another 2 seconds. And again, if you guys need support, definitely check out the soul support session. Information is in the link below. With everything going on, you may just need some clarity and direction. I've got you. Okay. All right, so it looks like we don't have any questions for this week, which is perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. There's always next week. All right, and so that will conclude this week's edition of the weekly Astro forecast. I sincerely hope that you were able to get at least one important piece of information that you can use going into this week and beyond. Thank you so much for tuning in. Again, for information on all of my relevant offerings, videos you should watch, check out the links in the description box below and also the offerings that are tagged to this video. Thanks so much for tuning in. Have an amazing week, and I will see you guys next week. Hopefully not same time. We might go back to 9:30 unless you guys decide that 8 p.m. Eastern is better. All right, but we'll decide that before next week. In any event, I'll see you next week. Hopefully same time, same place. All right, my loves, take care. I was like, how can I answer that as vaguely as possible before you said that? Leave your question or comment in the comment section. All right. And I'll definitely answer those. All right, my loves. Peace. Have a good night.